you guys get a special first Halloween episode of our brand new role-playing campaign that is called something. Intrigue. No, Illusion and Intrigue, right? Not Intrigue and Illusion.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why the stream info's still wrong. But Illusion and Intrigue, which is a low magic, quasi-fake historical, not really historical, but less medieval than your average fantasy game. More Age of Sails. Game with a whole lot of politics. That's my definition of it. And to start us out, I want to go around and introduce everybody. So why don't we start with Stuart? Introduce yourself and your character, please.
I'm Stuart, and my character is named Ra, and he's a sailor and paladin, and all around super smart and charismatic guy.
Who's out of his costume already?
Yep. It was stifling and I couldn't drink, so.
That's fair. All right, Amanda, how about you? You have muted yourself. I can't.
Sorry, I was eating Halloween candy and I didn't want to be crunching too loudly.
I appreciate that.
I'm Amanda. I play Callyanne Dupree. She is a herbalist apprentice turned druid, which is still very new to her, but we're figuring it out. And going forward, should be exciting.
All right. Bard, or Chris, we don't know
And I
much
have a
about
costume
Bard.
too.
But
Yeah.
whatever you feel comfortable talking about.
I'm Chris, and I play Bard, the Bard.
Okay, Elizabeth.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I play Gretchen Schroeder. Not to be confused with Schrodinger, but her family's wines are Schrodinger wines, well known. She's a socialite, rich girl, has a title, and is really into politics right now, and really getting out of a sticky situation. I'll leave it at that.
More
And-
like into.
Well, into.
Is in the middle of.
Ow. Yeah, that's more it.
Constantly in the middle of various sticky situations.
And last but not least for today is Josh.
Hi, I'm Josh. I play Duncan Picard. I'm a farmer and a merchant who got dragged into all the shenanigans as they started to ensue in front of my booth in town. And I play a ranger who's been living out on the land his whole life and is really, really confused by all this magic that has just started to happen around me.
So
Not convinced it's real just yet.
Yeah. So as you all may have gathered from the intros, we have been playing this campaign for a little while at home, but we decided to start streaming it and turning it into a podcast. We also are in a world that doesn't, like I said it was low magic, but that's even putting it a little far. Like, it's a world with no magic. As far as the average person is concerned, magic isn't a thing. So as our characters are sort of discovering abilities with themselves, it has been an interesting journey for many of them. The world is populated by humans, so we don't have other races that people are super aware of, at least. And there have been 2 other members of the party who have unfortunately left us for one reason or another, both of whom belong to Chris. And they've learned some secrets about those particular members of the party in their past adventures as well, but there are many more secrets to learn. And recently, the group saved the queen and the princess and the dowager queen and the princess's fiancé, and basically the entire country from an invasion by a warring country that our country of Thelonde has been at war with for a long time. And there will be sort of a longer intro about what the world is and all that on the podcast. And I'll make sure that's available on YouTube as well, so that if you are curious about the history, you can get a hold of that. But let's start playing for today. So when we left off, long ago, before I got COVID, we also haven't played in like a month and a half, so bear with us as we remember how to play. Because COVID. We had just saved our royal family, and you guys had tried to track the druid, who knows, the person who led in the enemy soldiers through a tree in the courtyard in the middle of the palace, and lost her in town. You had met a strange masked figure who I feel like said something about how they were good at tracking, so you were going to talk to him later and get his help tracking down the person who who did let the soldiers in, who has a name that I don't remember because it's been a month and a half. But let me look that up so that we can remember what her name was.
It was Gachet.
Gachet, yeah.
Yeah, Madame Gachet.
Madame Gachet, yeah.
Ida Gachet, specifically. And that's, I think, pretty much where we left off. Was there anything that happened after that? All right.
Nope.
I think we were just heading back to close the loop with Jean, our contact, and everyone else after an all-nighter of everything.
Amanda, you muted again.
Stop munching. Was I still wild-shaped?
I think so.
I feel like we left off and I was a cougar.
Yes, you were a cougar.
Yeah. Which,
And
by
we
the
had
way, is the
lied
only
to the
wild shape
guards
that
and
she
stuff.
has.
Yep.
Yeah.
We lied to the guards that you are our very well-trained pet cougar.
Tracking cougar, I believe.
I don't think they believed you, though.
Nope.
I wonder why.
What? A cougar?
People
Being
don't keep
Watford.
pet cougars in Thelonde? What?
Gosh.
So I guess I should mention just some very basic details. The country that we are in is called Thelonde, in the continent of Thelonde, and the capital city that we are currently in with the castle is Vivienne. Just so you guys know what we're talking about when we talk about things. And the country that we're at war with is Syriand. All the new vocab, very quickly. Okay. So you guys, you were going to go find Jean and check in with him and take a nap,
Yep.
I believe.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, we left off trying to find John and the Royals after the intruder got away. So we were walking back in through the open gate. There was still a crowd there.
Okay. So if you guys don't mind, because you all know what happened, I'm not going to really go through that whole... Well, actually, that's probably a pretty good chance for recap. Never mind. Let's have you go talk to Jean so you can tell him what happened, and then we'll skip ahead to the next day from there. So you find him without any issues. You're starting to learn the palace pretty well, and you know their haunts. And you have a tracking cougar to help you out.
Yeah, well-trained cougars.
Okay, dude, chill. So, he's alone in his sitting room, we'll say.
Don't look at me. I'm a cougar.
I'll just knock. I'll knock.
I just
and-
assumed that Gretchen is going to
Yeah.
talk to
Oh,
Sean.
hi, Jean.
Oh, yes. Hello.
I think is everybody back to where they're supposed to be?
We still have the royals under close guard, but it
Okay.
seems that perhaps the danger has passed.
we tried to find the woman who had let the soldiers in. She disappeared into the city with her compatriots.
You're really breaking up, Elizabeth.
Shoot.
Had a name.
Yeah, those compatriots had the Dumarches.
Yes, Madame
Yes.
Dumarche. Count and Countess Dumarche.
Yes.
Count and Countess Dumarche. Am I still breaking up?
No, you
better.
seem to be better.
Okay. I think it's my low voice.
Your Gretchen voice is so quiet.
Yes, my Gretchen voice is so quiet, and I just need to make it louder. That's all. So, Count and Countess have left, and she went into the city. We couldn't track her far.
We lost her trail at the gates.
Yes. Yes, Cal. I know. And Cougar Cal is yeah.
Cougar Cal couldn't track her either.
No.
No, there's quite the gathering outside the gates with all the commotion that's been going on in the past.
I'm sure there is. I hadn't even thought about it, but of course there would be. So, do you think sending guards out after her might be helpful?
Maybe. It looks like we ran into a curious person, one who had a mask on, and said that he could track people. I don't know if that's true.
But whatever help
But
we can get, if we can stop her from doing this again.
Also, speaking of her, Cal and Andriel were there when things kicked off, and he didn't make it.
Well,
Andriel is...
the other...
you remember...
oh god, we all gave aliases.
Yeah, I don't think that you've ever told Jean his actual name.
No, I don't think so.
No, I
And
think
we were introduced to Court by other names too. He knows our real names, but
traveling companion, John.
Oh,
one
the
with the
one you
dark hair.
just met.
yes.
just
Yep.
met, just killed.
Oh,
Yes, just met.
dear.
Hey, yes.
I'm gonna shift back from cougar form and join this conversation.
He looks a little startled. He's still not used to this whole, like, cougar human thing.
Me neither.
Cal, of course. He didn't...
Yes,
I'm so sorry
were
to hear
both
that.
in the Dolphin Courtyard when the Madame opened a hole in a tree. The big tree in the middle of the courtyard. It just split. And soldiers started pouring through, and
That's how they got in the castle. A hole in a tree.
She opened a tree. I'd never seen anything like it, but I think John tried to fight or something. I just ran, but
Well, when there's a load of soldiers coming after you, of course you did.
yeah, I don't know what happened to him, but we found his body.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that.
But it was definitely her. She has some kind of tree magic.
Interesting. You and she, you'd spoken yesterday, correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you get any knowledge of where she might be headed?
I wasn't able to get much out of her. She was really interested in trees. I guess that makes sense now.
She was bringing soldiers through them.
Yeah. But no, she didn't say anything about like where she was from or Any people she knew? I'm afraid I don't have much.
Well, I suppose we can assume that she's Siriondian. Was brought here
Right.
for this express
Yeah.
purpose. It was the night that you discovered was the attack time.
Do we know anything about the Count and Countess, sir?
I
Should
know very little about them. They don't come to court very often. They keep to themselves for the most part. They have an estate, or their estate is not particularly close to Sirion. It is south of here, but most places are south of here.
But they are known to court.
Yes, they have been here. They're just not frequently at court.
So they're traitors.
If they were aware of this connection, yes.
Mm-hmm.
They fled together. They fled with her. Seems kind of suspect.
Then this is information that must be passed to Her Majesty.
Yeah, maybe checking on their estate is one of the places to go if we can't find any other clues.
Yeah. I think that would be wise.
I will take that to her. I believe she's resting at the moment, and if the trail is cold, the trail is likely cold. So a few hours
Yeah, I
may
don't
not
think
make
it
much
hurts
difference.
to get guards out in town. I mean, I don't know how far they could have gone. I mean, they could be pretty much anywhere. She managed to bring soldiers from Sirion right into the capital. So who's to say she couldn't do the same thing to get away?
Get herself back, yes.
That's a good point.
Well,
Speaking of cold, I could use a cold drink right about now.
Yeah.
Oh, and a nap.
Well, we did say that we
Yes.
got with Bard at the tavern later.
Yeah. Duncan, how's your family?
They were fine before this whole thing kicked off, and it seems to be localized to here. So I imagine that there's very little impact outside of what transpired here in the palace tonight.
I suddenly get self-conscious about what I'm wearing and look down and then look at Jean and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I know earlier there was that skirmish, but I'm afraid that I've put a bunch of holes in the guard uniform you gave me."
Oh, that is nothing to be concerned about. It's very easy
And
to
there's
get
some
new ones.
blood on it too. I'm fine,
I'm
but
glad that you're
I
all
don't know
right.
if that'll wash out.
It's fine. I'm
All right.
sure that the staff is very accomplished at washing blood out of guards' uniforms.
Hope so.
That is what they're
How are they
intended
at
to do.
dresses?
Well, if they can get
Because,
him out of a uniform, I know very little of dresses.
There might or
We
might not
just-
be an
Don't get blood on my
Arrow.
clothing very much, so.
Just burn it and get new dresses.
arrow in my ass wasn't my plan either. None of this was planned.
Yeah. I think I too need to retire and
Yes,
send some
perhaps.
letters out.
I will notify the guards that they should send out a party, and perhaps you all should take a little rest and then go find your tracking acquaintance and see what can be found.
What about John? do
As I recall,
something with-
he was very secretive or quiet about his origins.
Yes, but he said he was from the mountains outside of town.
Yes, he was not from Thelonde, as I recall. Despite clearly
Yes.
being from
He lived
Thelonde.
up in the
a
mountains,
little further than out of
border
town.
between the wastes and the lands.
Oh, I gave you his sword just before the
Yes, would you
just
like it
before
back?
the attack. Yeah, I think it's got some writing on it. Maybe if we can figure out what it says, that'll point us in the right direction.
Yes, anything here. He hands
Yeah.
it back to you. And anything we can do to assist you with his finding his relatives or whatever it is that you wish to do.
We
Yeah.
left him in the corner of the dolphin courtyard because we didn't know where else, like where to take him at the moment.
I see.
Um,
Well, we
Don't
can
know much
certainly
about the
have
traditions
him
of his people, but
put in a local chapel or the castle chapel. I'm sure there are plenty of bodies in there at the moment until
We
you're ready to do
discussed
something with it.
If it's all right with you, I think we want to take him back to his people. We don't know exactly where they are, but we know the general idea.
Of course. Yes, if that's what you'd like to do.
Yeah.
We
I
need a
assume you
cart,
don't
but
want
Yes,
to do
I
so
think
at the
so.
moment, however.
not immediately.
Not at the moment.
chapel should be good for now.
Hmm.
Yes, I'll make sure that happens.
Thanks.
Thank you.
There will be much to sort out in the coming days.
There will.
Yes.
Go sleep. Wait for morning. If you like, you can use my rooms or wherever.
Okay.
Like at his house.
Or you could go back to my house if that's preferable, of course.
Or
I kinda
rooms
wanna
here in
be-
the palace.
Out of the palace.
Okay.
Yeah, let's head back to our hotel. We've got our stuff there, and yeah.
Hotel. Weren't we just staying at John's house?
No, we had
No, you
rooms
had a
at
hotel.
we had a
You'd
suite
met
at the.
yeah, we
John
did.
at his house.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go back to the hotel then.
All right. Well,
You-
keep in touch, and we'll try to find these criminals.
Ra, are you still up for a drink?
Yep. And I just pull a flask out that I always have with me as we walk.
All right. So you guys, are you going back to the hotel or are you going to the tavern?
I
I'll
think
share my
Gretchen's
flask
going
with
back.
Duncan.
I'm gonna stay
I-
with Gretchen.
Yeah, Gretchen
Yeah, I
is going
think-
back to the hotel.
Like a little burr
I
on her
think-
butt.
The map at least is in order.
Yeah.
Okay.
I take a long swig from the flask.
Yep.
Yeah.
And-
I assume this isn't the water flask?
Nope.
All right. So it is more than water that you get out of that flask.
Okay.
Yeah, so you go back to your hotel, you get a little rest in. Do you want to take a full long rest? Or are you trying to get back on the road quickly?
It's the middle of the night at this point, isn't it?
It's early
Alex-
morning, like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Sleeping in until like 9, 10. That's
Yeah. That seems acceptable.
Okay. I'll say that's
I'm
close
doing that.
enough. You guys can take a long rest. Those of you who had
Okay.
arrows to the butt can heal that damage if necessary.
Yeah. I think I already healed it.
I think you did too.
Yeah.
At least I'm at full HP. So
Yeah. And
attacked at some point.
yeah. And
and
the next.
Gretchen-
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, before Gretchen goes to bed, Gretchen's going to take care of some business, as in write a letter to her family,
Ooh.
and then where she says, "I'm all right, I'm okay. Things happened at the palace, but I'm in good hands. Love you. Bye."
So she's admitting to being back in town.
She is, and then she's gonna write a letter to what news people are there, like, or who, like, who's the best, like, town crier to, like, is there a good town crier to, like, spin a story to?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'd say there's probably actually like a small newsletter, or you could talk to people.
Find the town gossip.
Yeah.
Because Gretchen wants to sell a story about when we were in the palace, the princess was flirting with Ra. So, and it's like a very like salacious story of her flirting with a sailor of the sea, tattooed man.
Gretchen,
You're a
the
bad
gossip
person.
queen.
Very salacious, and in front of her fiance to be and like kind of like have this super juicy gossip.
Yeah, the newsletter writers are happy to take that news from you.
And see if she could get a little bit of coin for her story.
Make a I'll say persuasion check.
Okay. You know.
Okay.
24?
24. Yeah, they'll give you 3 gold for that story.
Okay, she'll take it.
It's a pretty good story that they are gonna juice.
Oh yeah. You know.
Okay.
Yep. And that's what Gretchen is up to.
Okay. So the rest of the night passes or morning, as it were, passes fairly uneventfully. You guys can take your long rest. And late morning has dawned. So what do you guys want to do?
Well.
A bath?
Oh, we can say that's all, yeah, part of your resting time. You are clean and refreshed and fed.
I was too tired to do that last night. I'm thinking I got back to the hotel and just like passed out. But
Ra definitely passed out immediately and knows nothing of this news story about him yet. Yep.
You know. Yeah, I think well, I think Gretchen was going to be waiting patiently and seeing if a letter comes in the morning.
Oh,
And
so
wait
she
for
sent it off
everybody
and
else to get-
everything. Okay.
Yeah, because she sent it off and
Yeah.
yeah, she sends it off in the morning, late
Okay.
morning, the letter,
Okay.
but not the news. The news. She made sure to do that before she went to bed.
Sure.
priorities.
Okay.
Gossip over family.
Of course. All right, so then are you guys going to go to the tavern?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Need more drinking after a night like that.
Yeah.
Breakfast?
Yeah.
So you are fairly easily able to find the tavern that Bard had described to you. And when you get there, it's kind of an interesting tavern inn, more like an inn, but it's definitely also a tavern. And it looks very sort of soothing, which is sort of nice after the night you had. It's got plants everywhere.
Okay.
And it's daytime, so, it doesn't look like there's not a lot of people there, but you do hear the sound of whistling coming from inside.
Okay, well, we walk in and I try to find a server or something. Hey, is there a table that we can have? Get some drinks, get some food.
Oh, yes, do come in. Thank you. And there's this sort of thin and well-dressed man who's got like sort of a balding head. And he ushers you to a seat. Bard, would you still be abed or would you be up or what would you be doing this time of day?
I am definitely already singing / telling the epic of the 5 adventurers who saved the castle, one of whom was shirtless and managed to woo the princess.
So as
'Cause
you
I
guys
can-
are brought into the dining room,
If
you
that
are
gossip hit last night, he
Yeah.
heard it. He started
Yeah.
penning the first draft, so he's
You-
already starting to.
you hear
hit that.
Bard sort of like telling this story, maybe stopping here and there to scribble out something and rewrite a phrase. And you probably get in right as you hear about the shirtless sailor who seduced the princess.
It's a lot more fantastical than the real events. Like the sailor was at least like 7 feet tall, wielding 2 great axes in each hand. Like it's ridiculously over the top, but like, I assume it seems like it's working.
I don't know. Can I even tell that this is about us?
Probably not. Besides that, like there are 5 adventurers that saved the castle, and it's clearly the last night's events, but like that's probably where the similarities end. Besides shirtless guy getting flirting with the princess.
Oh.
I'm gonna go examine the plants.
There's a lot of plants. Just normal plants, nothing. Actually, there are some sort of rarer herbs amongst the plants.
Ooh.
I turn to anyone that's local. I'm just like, hey, does the castle get attacked often? There's a song about it.
And the man who ushered you in, oh no, it's very unusual. This is about the events of last night, I believe. Bard, is that the case?
That's right. Also, I'm still working on his voice, so you'll have to excuse me.
There
As you're
and like
singing-
lost in thought for a second, then Ross says, there wasn't a shirtless dude there last night.
What?
Oh, what have you heard about this? You must talk to Bard. He is writing an
What?
epic at this moment.
Oh,
Oh.
sorry, I got to bed late. Yep. Drinks.
Oh, of course. What would
And
you
I'll pay
like?
for
And
him,
he,
whatever it is.
gets you guys your drinks and so forth. And as he's pouring your drinks, and says, I am Sever, the owner of this inn. Sever's Inn. And this is Bard. He has been our resident entertainer for the past week or two.
It's you guys from last night, and I'll kind of
Yes.
set my guitar to the side. And it's good to see you again. I'm glad that you were able to make it.
I really enjoyed this take on what happened last night. It is fantastical and totally inaccurate, but I love it.
Oh, I mean, this is the story that's spreading through the streets like wildfire. I mean, especially the rippling barbarian who single-handedly saved the princess and then swept her off her feet and, left her with a dazzling kiss.
This is
All the
quite
while, her
story.
fiancé sat in the corner and was dumbstruck by his sheer magnitude of his muscles.
I just lean over to Duncan and say, did I take my shirt off last night and not remember?
Absolutely not. No. Thank you.
Okay,
for that, by the way.
just checking.
I'm gonna nudge Rock, like,
And it does seem that you have another friend. I didn't meet you yesterday. I am Bard.
Hi, Cal.
It's nice to meet you.
She's actually our cougar trainer.
Oh, that's great to hear. I've never met a cougar trainer before. How does that work?
I'm still figuring it out, so
I mean, it sounds exciting, though.
It's good for tracking, though. Very, very good for tracking.
I can imagine.
I think last night you said that you were also good with tracking. Am I correct on that?
Yes, that's right. Expert tracker is the other thing that people know me as.
How did you come about that position?
You just spend enough time roaming place to place, and you learn how to pick things up.
Any
So where are
tricks of
you
the
from?
trade?
Oh, I'm just, we bards, we just kind of float town to town, place to place, picking up stories and retelling them and retelling them, and so a little bit of everywhere.
Do you happen to be from a
Ah.
place in the mountains where people read books and also fight?
That is one of the places I have not been, but he grabs a notepad out and starts scribbling notes. I would definitely like to learn more, though.
Oh. I was just
So
wondering, I
we-
thought maybe there'd be like a coincidence because we knew someone and he wouldn't really tell us about where he's from. And then, anyway, carry on.
We'll do, and then he'll sit down and continue to say a line and strum a couple notes, and then jot down a line, scribbles, do all that jazz.
Oh,
But was there anything else that I could read? Were you tracking the person now?
well, we want to. So to add to your fantastical story,
I mean, I don't think it's that fantastical. I try to convey events fairly closely to how they happened. I mean, yes, I have a bit for the flair for the dramatic, but that's just any story has that. And he'll stand up, put his guitar behind him, and put his notebook away. I'm ready, whatever you are, though. Severa, we'll be back later, I assume.
yeah. So we're looking for a person who may have been involved in what happened.
I'm going to pull out my sketchbook.
Oh,
I've
yes.
done a little sketch of her.
Okay.
Would the story of Gachet have made it anywhere, or was that pretty isolated to just them?
I don't think they. No, not unless Gretchen also sold that part of the story.
No, she did not. She just sold only the part of where Ra was flirting with the princess. That's the only part she sold.
I'm not sure I heard about any of this.
Yeah, you're still wondering who the person who swept the princess off her feet was. Probably.
Yeah, shirtless barbarian dude. Like that's just mentally filed and ask later.
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure that was one of the salacious details that was added. His exposed tattoos just glittered out of the prince's eyes. Something really terrible like that.
It's really bad
Also,
romance
bras.
novel.
I'm definitely in my normal getup with my sleeves rolled up to my elbows. So my tattoos are definitely exposed and my shirt's not super buttoned up or, tied up.
Yeah.
So it's there's probably some tattoos peeking out from the collar.
So there was a couple people that let the troops in through the front door, not through the front door, through a little there was a tunnel underneath the castle, and so we're trying to find them.
I see. And he'll take his notebook out, add some of those notes into his epic retelling of the previous night. Is there anything else that you can tell me that would help me find this person, these people?
Well, the trail went cold right by the gate where we met you because it got too busy.
Then that sounds like a fantastic place to try to pick up the trail today.
So this whole time I'm studying him, trying to figure out why he's so interested in us and this. And like,
If we start to head out there as the scene changes, Raul will just lean over to him and be like, "So tell me that part about the shirtless barbarian again."
Oh, he single-handedly secured the room that the princess, as well as the rest of the royalty, was in. Um,
Wow.
barred the door by himself, and then when the Syriandan military finally bashed it down, he kept them at bay, again, with 2 great axes, swinging them side by side. They say that he must have failed 20 military before the end of the night, arrows sticking from his chest, and he just ignored them as though they were nothing.
Wow, that sounds totally 100% accurate. Yeah.
It was the sight of the blood dripping down and just his passion that the rest of the guards fled.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely a perfectly believable story.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I know, isn't
The
it?
windows got messed up. Yeah.
All of everything got messed up. We're now in the wrong place.
Oh.
Keep
just
going.
gonna edge
while I
over
fix
to
things.
Gretchen and did you meet this barbarian guy? Like, what happened when you guys were with the princess?
No, I do. The only things I can pick up from that story that make sense are that it probably was Ra. I'm guessing that was. Yeah. I think
Ra?
Look, he's got muscles. There's some tattoos.
He's got muscle.
Why did he take his shirt off?
He didn't.
Oh. This guy's really just full of it, isn't he? Lovely. Why are we helping?
No.
Why are we working
actually,
with him?
Actually, I think it's. I think it was in the newspaper this morning. There was this salacious story about the princess and Ra. So.
Is there a conveniently placed town crier on the corner that's like yelling about it as we walk
Please.
by?
Yes.
Guys, you've got to quit doing this to me.
Was he
I just got him all set
flirting
up
with the
again.
princess?
Oh, did I break it?
Yes, you did. So, Ra and the princess? Really? Does he like her?
Oh, you weren't there. So.
No, I was in the guards barracks with an arrow in my ass.
Yeah, I know. I forgot about that. And
I didn't.
so, the princess went over to Ra and was flirting up a storm with him. And then then she suddenly remembered her fiance wasn't in the room after a good while before she did. And then she was like, oh shoot. And then her fiance came back. That was basically it as far as that. But then, yeah, Ra did some things and protected the people, and I was in the tunnels with them. Jean.
Wow.
And the queen. But, yes. She flirted up a huge storm. It was, to be
Did
honest.
he flirt back with her? Like,
Oh, yes.
oh.
Man wouldn't flirt back with her.
When a
She's
princess flirts
gorgeous.
with you, you flirt back. Like, common courtesy.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember
She's
if I
so
met Princess
beautiful.
Jackie.
Yeah.
We saw her in the courtyard earlier
Yeah,
in
you
the
all
day.
saw her in
Yeah.
the courtyard.
Okay, I knew we met the queen. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I was there for that.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, and don't you remember that she, at that point in time, was very interested in Ra?
yeah, I did see that. She was daring.
Mm-hmm.
I just assume I don't hear any of it while we're walking. They're like 3 feet away and I'm not paying attention.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're whispering about this in the back.
we're in full girl gossip whisper mode.
Okay, so you all make it back to the gates, which are now, calmed down. There's not such a big ruckus anymore. There's just people coming and going as one would anticipate usual. And yeah, nothing immediately jumps out at you.
I'm watching Bard. I'm trying to see what he's going to do. Like, is he just full of shit?
Was this where you lost sight of her yesterday? Or last night? Sorry, I forget when all of this happened.
Yeah. It was, only a couple hours ago.
Okay, I will put on a big show of, like, getting down, picking up, I assume there's, like, gravel or loose dirt or something, picking it up, like, rubbing it between my hands, letting it settle, and then I'll make a deception check to make it look like I know what I'm doing.
Go for it.
Can I do an insight
Yeah,
again?
So there's a 23.
Because I'm trying to see if he's
So
full of shit.
none of you have passive insights larger than that. Cal, you mentioned that you've been watching him to get that, so I'll let you make an insight check.
Okay.
Yeah. I have no reason to believe he's not an expert tracker.
Yeah.
I am just really suspicious of everyone right now.
Based on his totally accurate stories, I 100% have faith in his abilities.
However, that's a 9. So he's licking the dirt like a pro.
Yeah, he seems to know what he's doing.
So he's like one of those CSI scenes where he's like,
That's exactly what I
it
was
looks
thinking.
like we've lost the trail.
Yes, I think.
So,
Good beginning.
Those tire tracks go with that footprint.
yeah. So I'm going to pick up some of the gravel too and start looking through it, trying to see what he sees. Like, what's he figuring out from this?
I believe she must have gone in this direction, and I'll, like, just get up and start going.
Okay. So you all, I assume, follow Bard as he walks very decisively
Yeah, totally.
down the
He obviously
down the
knows where
walk.
we're going. So.
Oh yeah, I am one to follow someone who's decisive, much like I was in the palace when I got everybody lost.
But that's
I know.
I probably head towards. I imagine, like, there would be a part of town where, like, people go to hide or to, like, lay low, and I would probably head in that direction.
Okay. Yeah, so probably the place that you would think of the most for that would be the dock area, because there's a lot of coming and going, so it's a pretty easy place to get lost or get yourself lost.
Yeah. So I'll, like, head in that direction and periodically stop to kind of do the same thing, look around, stuff like that. Maybe, yeah, that's probably all that I do.
Okay. Yeah. So
I'm just intensely curious at this point, so every time he stops to examine a clue, I'm like coming over to look at it too behind him, like,
what are you doing?
I'm curious. I'm trying to figure out what he's doing.
I'll borrow Cal's sketchbook and just ask locals and be like, hey, you see this lady recently? Like in the last day?
You do not get anyone who has seen this lady.
I am shocked.
Shocked and amazed.
We followed the dirt so closely.
Yeah, you're following the perfect trail. So you make it down to the docks. And Ra, of course, you know this area well. Or well-ish.
Better than anywhere else in town.
Yeah. And it is bustling, maybe a little more than would normally be this time of day. But, nothing like crazy emergency. Just it's in high gear.
And then I'll probably head to one of the, like, mid-sized inn/taverns, assuming that she would have, again, not gone somewhere lavish, not gone somewhere dirt cheap, and just kind of find the middle of the road.
Okay. Right on the docks, there's not a lot that's super middle of the road. It's mostly pretty not super hot because it mostly caters to sailors and so forth. But you can find a nicer version of one of those.
Yeah, but probably still relatively close to the water, just because at this point, I would imagine she was probably trying to get out of town if she left the castle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so start either asking tavern owners or, at the docks, the people who would take on passengers to try to get out of town.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably just ask the dockmaster if anyone pushed off, and like if they saw this lady or like a rich old couple with maybe someone in tow.
Yeah. So you find, this takes, actually, everybody make an investigation check for your chit-chatting and trying to follow this rather cold / made-up trail.
That is a 4.
Sounds about right.
That is a 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a 7 as well.
Oh, good. You're the one who's leading.
Duncan
Sorry,
got
what
a
was
20,
that,
though.
Josh?
I got a 20, not natural.
Ooh, nice. So Duncan, you actually miraculously find someone who tells you that they definitely saw somebody in the middle of the night take a rowboat from the dock and start rowing, and it looked like a woman, start rowing towards an island that the person says they were going in that direction, and it's a haunted, very deserted island, so perhaps that's where they went.
Okay. Did you see this person
Haunted island.
closely? Did it match the sketch that we've been showing around?
No, I just saw that it was a figure dressed in dresses that looked very flowy. It was night. It was very late. I woke up and glanced out of the porthole and saw this, and it was very strange. People don't usually take rowboats out at some middle of the night time. Especially women alone. In dresses.
Yeah,
Okay.
fair enough.
Was she wearing a dress the last time I saw her?
Yes.
Cool. Well, I'm sold. Bard's a miracle worker.
Yeah.
So haunted.
Because I'm looking at these clues. I can't figure anything out from
Yeah.
So haunted. What did they say about it being haunted?
Well, there was once an artist or an artist's family or something that lived there, and something very terrible happened, and they all died. I wouldn't go there. Not me, no.
That sounds like the perfect place to lay low after allowing a military into the capital or into the castle.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
cough
did
really
this woman
loudly
do
overhead
something
as he
like
said
that?
Have
Well,
you
then
heard
that-
the epic of
that
the
was-
5 adventurers who saved the castle last night?
No, this sounds very fascinating. What happened?
And I will begin to launch into the tale.
I am trying to fade into the background.
You're going to
As-
let him actually,
as he
like, this
does
is a
that-
long tale, I imagine.
As he does that, I will start looking for a boat to like finding someone that'll lend us a boat so we can head out there.
Okay.
I'm gonna slink after Raw.
Yeah, I think Gretchen is more like, I think Gretchen is just reveling in the fact that somebody can sell such a ridiculous story. She enjoys it so much that she's just watching. Trying to pick up some tips for later to how to convince
Lie your
people.
ass off.
Yeah. How to convince people.
I will also
Really
set out a
incredible.
tip jar as I start to launch into the story, because I imagine like it
People
might
start to
garner
gather,
like
sure.
start to get louder, start to actually launch
Yeah,
into the storytelling. So
Yeah, so as this happens, Ra, the only one still on task, manages to go looking for a boat. The dock workers you approach about, finding a boat. Are you trying to find a boat to rent or someone to take you there?
Probably someone to take us there. Like if they've got the day, so I can have them take us there and then bring us back later.
Okay. Do you tell them
and if
where
they
you're trying
won't,
to
then
go,
I'll-
or just trying to ask for passage?
Oh, I'm just like, yeah, we need to go out this way. And if they won't go, I'll just rent the boat.
Okay. Make a persuasion check.
Something I'm good at.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
Not great. 9 total.
Okay. So you do find somebody who is willing to take you to the island, but he will not stay at the island. He will take you there and then go a distance off and like wait for you if necessary. But he's not willing to stay at the island. Like, you're getting the feeling that there are a lot of rumors about this island being haunted, and people are not, especially sailor sorts are, rather superstitious, as you know, and they don't really want to go out there, thank you.
I start getting very concerned and asking them specifically what they know. Like, not just like the family and blah, 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 but like specifically what happens if you go out there.
Okay. So you hear over the course of the time that Bard is telling his epic tale, various tales of this island. You hear that apparently there's a rare plant or something, and somebody once sent a group of people to go find some of this plant, and all of them died after the family had died, some time ago. And
What kind of plant?
oh, are you with Ra now? You're not listening to the epic tale?
No, I
She was
followed
following
Rob.
Oh, you followed Ra. Okay. It was.
I was trying to get as far away from Bard as possible.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just know that it was some kind of rare plant that some herbalist wanted, and that grows on the island. Apparently, that is all I heard. That was all that was told to me.
Oh.
But I do know
Plants?
that they went
Plants
out, and then I don't believe any. Maybe one came back, but most of them did not come back. It's a bad place. Don't come back, or don't go there.
Yeah, I have to run next door real quick. I will be right back.
Okay,
Do
don't
you have
mess
an
with
ice
your
cream truck
camera.
flash
You'll
mob
change.
too?
You'll mess up everything.
What's up?
Oh, I said,
Leave your
don't turn
camera
off your
on.
camera. You'll mess up everything.
Get the dog to put on a dance routine.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I will just rent a boat then, since nobody is going to go out there with us.
Okay. You are able to rent a boat. It is rather expensive to rent a boat. And it will cost you 5 gold pieces.
Yeah, they probably don't expect me to come back. Yeah,
There's a security deposit.
I know that that's a lot, but also I have money, so I don't worry about it
Yeah.
Okay.
because
We
I'm
left you
great
with
with money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah, so you are able to rent a boat. That is much easier than trying to convince someone to take you out there. And luckily, you know how to use boats, so it's no big deal.
Yeah,
It's not much of a boat. It's like, just a little boat that you could all sort of cram into. To get a bigger boat would
Sure.
cost more, obviously.
And probably require people that know how to operate it.
yep. And I'll make sure that over the course of this, I've made sure which island specifically we're definitely not supposed to go to.
Okay, yeah, because there are many islands. This is a very big river, and you definitely get pointed out to you. The island, it's quite some distance away. You can't see it very well from where you are. You can see sort of this haze of green. It's clearly very well vegetated. Like there's a lot of trees, and it looks very. For someone like Cal, it would look super appealing, actually.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like I've already pulled out one of my plant guides and I'm thumbing through it trying to figure out what this rare plant might be.
Yeah, and you get a little more information that it was an island that was bought by an artist and his wife, who was also an artist. He was a very successful artist who retired and built a house on this island. And something happened, and his wife, and the children all disappeared and presumably died on the island in the house.
I will try to get their names so that I can give them to Bard later. Because I know he would really want to know.
You're able
Oh,
to
yeah.
get the name of the artist. You're not able to get the name of his wife or the children. But the artist's name, I know, but I cannot remember. Let me find it in my notes. Is Roland Avrigar.
How do you spell that?
Rolen Avrigard.
Cool. Ra doesn't know how to spell it, but it'll drive me nuts at my notes if it's wrong.
Yeah, and he was a very famous artist. Like, after you find his name, like, you definitely hear more about how he was a very famous artist about 100 years ago.
Cool. Yeah, I'll get ready to go. Wrangle up people. I will get back and watch Bard go through, and especially if he's retelling the tale, I'll revel in him telling the 100% totally truthful tale of my exploits from the previous night.
Yeah.
7-foot tall sailor with muscles bulging.
Barbarian sailor, dual wielding battle axes. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
You now know what your life's ambition is.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, so he gets through the tale. I'm just going to say you can collect him at some point if you wish. Go get on your boat. It is a wonderful tale. It's growing even now, I'm sure.
Oh gosh. I love the detail of how he I just love the detail that she like ripped like threw the rug off and then opened the tunnel and then all the troops jumped out. That's like pretty salacious.
And
I'm still
you
giving
all
Bard a side eye.
presumably get on the boat, and Ra will take you to the island.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
might
all
believe
those
that he's
out
an
there.
expert tracker, but I don't trust his motives in helping us track this girl.
You do notice that when I get in the boat before I set out, like I'll push off, and then before I grab the oars, I will pour a little water on them, like take a moment ritualistically, like pour a little water on them, and then grab the handles on the oars, and then row us out there.
Yeah, so it's not a short journey. It was quite a distance away. As you approach the island, you do notice that it's really very lush with trees. You can see as you get closer, there's sort of a decrepit boat slip that doesn't have a boat on it. And you can barely see what you think might be a rooftop sort of peeking through the treetops. So it looks like, you have to sort of take a little walk to get from the shore to the house. And you get to the island, and I assume dock at the decrepit boat slip.
Yep.
And as you step off the boat, you can see there is sort of a faint trail that is leading from the boat slip to the interior of the island. It's quite overgrown, but you presume that it probably leads to the mansion. And remind me again, I know I keep telling you this, what is your guys' passive perceptions? I have them written down somewhere, but I don't know where.
Mine is 13.
14.
12.
Josh, did you tell me yours? Did I miss it?
14.
14? Oh, hey, good timing. Bard, since you just got back, what is your passive perception?
10.
Afraid.
Sweet. So, astonishingly, your expert tracker is not... Wait, who told me they had the highest passive perception? Now that I've just gotten
I
them
think
all?
it was Josh and I.
I think so.
Cowan,
14.
Yeah. Yeah.
The two of you, you've just started to head up the path, and Bard completely, somehow, magically misses this. But you two see something buried in the dirt by the dock. It looks like a small tusk or horn or something is protruding from the gravel in the ground.
Well, I'm gonna go check that out.
Okay. You sort of dig it out, pull it out, and you find a very dirty, weathered, small pink stuffed toy unicorn that has apparently been here for a very long time.
That's interesting.
I'll put it in my bag.
Okay.
Let me add that to my equipment.
Totally.
Moldy
Before you
stuffed
hurt.
pink unicorn.
Yes.
Yep.
It's yours. You have your first plushie.
Yay.
Okay, so you continue up the trail, and as you're going up this path, you are walking along. You're getting closer to the house, you think, and all of a sudden, you hear this noise coming from the bushes beside you. And before you have time to really process it, a figure darts out into the path in front of you, a small figure, and then turns around, and you just see this black sort of blur until it turns and looks at you and goes, "Woo!" and then runs away. And you saw this little black cat.
Bart probably screamed a little bit when it came out, like, ah!
And nearby to that, you actually you notice something strange in the undergrowth right beside the path. You see what looks like maybe some bones or something.
Yep, poking those two.
Okay. Yeah, so you poke through the bones and it becomes pretty evident pretty quickly that these are humanoid bones. Like, this is a skeleton of a person.
Big person, little person?
Like a smallish adult person.
Do I see any trauma? Like,
No, well, actually make a medicine check.
that's my jam, yo.
A completely unrelated note.
Why?
2 days ago, they found what
That would be a 10.
skull here.
Rolled a
in
freaking
San
4.
Diego, little islands off the coast.
Oh, wow.
If I knew where any of my other D20s were, you would be out.
It reminded me of that.
Yeah. It's like this story was just written for your previous experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see any trauma on it. It looks like it was a perfectly healthy skeleton. Except it's obviously dead because it's a skeleton.
No live skeletons here. Got it.
That's a good
Hopefully.
thing, sir.
And you continue up the path and sort of come around a corner, and the trees open up a little bit. It's still very overgrown, but you can see better now. This, in front of you, this magnificent stone mansion. You can tell that it was once a really very beautiful, grand building, but many years of weather and neglect have left it very degraded. There's a wide set of stone stairs that lead to two large doors, large sort of metal doors. And there's a plaque on the door, and the plaque reads Avrigar Mansion. Just in case you thought you might be in the wrong place.
Yeah. Just in case there was another, abandoned mansion.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the island,
Yeah.
Avigar spot.
Yeah. Does it have
Um,
a weird, eerie feeling? Like the word eldritch?
Make a perception check.
We all know if there's a beholder in
Natural
there, Elizabeth will find it.
Yep.
The whole place feels a little off somehow.
Okay.
And you also, being part of the sort of upper crust, you definitely, especially now that you see the name Avragar, I don't even know if Ra ever passed on that was the person you're looking, whose island this was. You know that Avragar was a very well-known name in the art industry. And because of his just sudden disappearance, his paintings always sell really well at auction.
As a note, I probably told everyone because I wanted to specifically tell Bard the name of this guy.
Oh yeah.
That has the creepy island, so that I made sure he knew it because he's the best at writing stories.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
true and in no way exaggerated story.
Yep, 100% true.
Accurate.
By the way, this whole way out here, like I'm looking around to see if I can spot this rare plant.
Okay. So far, they've been pretty common plants.
But I'm just studying the ground. And...
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a house there.
Were we still
did
following
we-
it with like a trail of footprints, or are we just? I mean, did we notice anything that looked like somebody had recently been there as we were coming in on
Make
the
a
trail?
survival check. Bard
Or
probably
actually-
would.
I was about to ask the group that.
Yeah,
The real reason why we're
12.
here.
12. You don't see anything, but it does look like maybe it's rained recently. You can't remember if it rained while you were sleeping.
Can't remember much from that night.
Yeah, it was a crazy night.
Mhm. Well, do we want to be shooting here?
Yeah, couldn't just be a cottage, could it? It had to be a mansion.
Yeah, let's just
Well,
knock and see if anyone's home. In case the maid is still here.
I look at Ra, roll my eyes, and try to open the door.
Make an athletics check.
10.
10. You actually manage, it takes some work, but you manage to sort of just barely barge your way through the door. And you see that, actually from the outside before you opened it, sorry, you saw that all of the windows were glass paned. They're all still intact, but they are all barred, which is interesting. But anyway, you open the doors, and the light from outside sort of spills out into this once grand foyer. There's a thin layer of dust covering the floor. And you see a number of small little paw prints all over the place. And there's a peculiar, rather unpleasant odor floating in the air.
Unpleasant how? Like musty or blood?
You could certainly make some a check of some form.
I'm gonna roll a d20.
I don't know, perception or something. I assume it didn't go well.
Oh,
Oof.
Well, it's a 7 with my modifier.
It's really hard to tell. It's just very unpleasant.
Duncan just got a natural 1.
I did.
Yeah,
I'm
very
just looking for
unpleasant.
valuable stuff because it's an abandoned house. So
So you guys go in?
Is it well lit? Like this is all happening in the morning, or is it like somehow?
it's like
Yeah, it's
dark on the
noonish
island.
now. No, it's still bright.
Yeah, it's like
the
midday.
house isn't well lit because it's so dusty, all the windows and stuff, but the doors have, created sort of this area of light in front of you.
Sounds like my house.
So as you step through the doorway, you hear from your right a boy's voice that whispers, "Hello, Mr. Tim Tom." And then from the left, the same voice whispers, "How are you today?" And you look around and there's nobody there to either side. Looking around the foyer, you see there is a door 30 feet on either side of you, but no people. Directly ahead of you, there's another door. And off to the right, there is a grand staircase that seems to lead to a second level, and a balcony overlooking the foyer. And at the bottom of the staircase, there is a skeleton wearing armor.
Oh,
Yep, gonna go poke that one too.
Sure, yeah.
When the boy's voice said, "How are you today?" Ra actually replied, "Pretty good, and you?"
You don't get an answer.
No.
Just like,
You know,
So-
the four of you don't seem as fazed by all of this as I had kind of expected you might be, especially her checking out that second skeleton.
Well, we were told
What?
a bunch of people died here.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
we
one
kind
thing
of
to know that,
expected.
another to see it.
Just bones. Can I see anything about how this one died?
So, Cal, as you approach the skeleton, you notice there's a slight movement in the armor.
Ooh.
And the movement continues a few times. And as you
Sorry.
get closer,
Someone just came up to my neighbor's apartment and their little Halloween decoration went off and they screamed.
Does Bard see the skeleton move?
yeah.
He kind of really panics and instantly like presses back against the door, like he's panicked.
Okay.
I
Cal,
draw my rapier.
Yeah, okay. So everyone's sort of on edge. Cal, you're close to the skeleton that's moving. And all of a sudden, a figure jumps out of the armor at your face and claws at your face. And this is another cat. It misses you. You sort of manage to stumble back in time, but then it jumps down and runs away.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had my dagger out because I was getting ready to like use it to lift the armor.
Yeah, if you want to try to attack the cat as it attacks you, you can.
No, I'll probably just leap backwards out of the way.
Yeah, like, ah!
Whoa! Whoa, whoa. Just a kitty.
Just a kitty.
yeah.
And make another medicine check to, if you're now actually going to lean down and look at the skeleton after having been attacked by a cat.
Oh, that's a 13.
Okay. So this set of bones is fairly intact, but there are a lot of gnaw marks on the bones.
Like rats or something that size?
Yeah, like
Or
some
like-
kind of small animal, maybe.
Like small rodent, not like wolf.
No, if you want to make like an animal handling check or a nature check, you can sort of try to determine what kind of animal.
It's a 7.
It's a 7. It's very hard to tell. They're small. You don't think it's a very big animal.
Not like something that's going to eat us.
Was it a different color cat, or was it like the same black cat?
This one was a little gray tabby cat. Because there's one sitting right here.
Cool.
Hi, Moirin. Guys, it's that cat again.
Okay.
In the inn?
And you see that there is this armor. And
I want to take a closer look at the armor. Is there anything remarkable or specific about it, or is it?
yeah, it looks like it's high quality leather armor. And there's also a dagger, and you find a set of small little wire-looking implements that are kind of strange, because I assume you don't know what they are. And sort of a pouch with some money in it. You also find in the pouch a sketch of a plant.
Oh.
Darn it.
How old does all that stuff look? Like, is it covered in dust as much as everything else or not?
Make a nature check. Survival something, I don't know.
Super good at these. We'll go with that because it's slightly less bad. Total of 5.
You have absolutely no idea. You can track as well as Bard, but you're less good about pretending you're good at it.
Yeah. No, I hand Cal the sketch of the plant
Ooh.
because I heard talking about it. You know what this is?
Do I know what this is?
Make a nature check.
All right.
I'm looking at the little tools that were in there too.
21. There we go.
Hey, you know.
Gretchen is.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead. No, I'll.
You recognize this immediately as a midnight violet, which is an extremely rare plant that is used in some very rare alchemical recipes. In fact, you had no idea it grew anywhere in this area.
Gretchen, seeing this all goes over to Bard and goes, "Are you feeling a little spooked?"
I don't do well with skeletons.
Any reason why?
Do you have a bad breakup with a skeleton once?
I guess that's probably the best way to put it. It was a bit of a traumatic experience. And so very, very early in my life, one of those first real memories, if you will, and been a little scared of them ever since.
Is he full of shit?
Insight check.
You can make an insight check.
11.
21.
I'm telling the truth, yeah.
Cannot figure this guy out.
Yeah.
Can I figure out what those tools are?
Yeah, you've been around these things. You would probably recognize them as thieves' tools.
Okay.
I'm just assuming our farmer Duncan probably hasn't been around them.
Yeah. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, they're not hard to figure out. Just, you have to have some kind of experience.
I'll just pocket those.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
I assume Duncan kept the money.
Duncan, once you eventually take the time to count the money, there is 5 gold's worth of silver.
Okay.
So 50 silver.
I'm going to give it to Rob for the boat.
Cool. Adding
You okay?
50 silver.
So, Mr. Bard, do you want to walk with me?
Sorry, what was
That
it?
way. Oh, Mr. Gretchen was asking. Mr. Bard, would you want to walk with me? I'm not particularly fond of skeletons either, but I don't want to walk alone in this, as Cal is already jetting ahead.
That sounds like a good idea. And he will put his arm out, and I assume Bard actually knows how to do that appropriately.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. So where do you
No,
guys
I'm
want
flipping
to
through the
go?
plant book again.
If you recall, there's a door about 30 feet. I mean, now you're at the bottom of the stairs, but from the entrance, there's a door to either side and a door across from the entrance, and then the stairs that you're at the bottom of.
And there's no sign of footprints or anything in the dust?
You could make a survival check.
I will.
Was this a wood house or stone house, and is it old or?
It's a stone house. It's not it's old. It's not like super old, but it's
That's
maybe
a
like
9.
100 years old or so. You can't tell. There's so many like little paw prints that it's hard to tell what's going on.
Should we start with the main doors?
Sure.
Or check the side rooms first?
Let's check the side. Let's check
Yeah,
the
we could
side
check,
rooms.
start one side and maybe like work our way around.
Okay. So let's start with the left.
Okay. So, this room, the door is closed. Are you opening it? All the doors were closed from the main foyer.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll open.
Yeah, so you open the door, and it opens just fine. It's a little squeaky, but it opens. And you see that the room contains several easels holding a bunch of unfinished paintings and some dried paints, some old rotten brushes. Although, at first glance the pictures look like they're incomplete, it's very obvious that the artist was an expert.
Hey, Raw, these would sell such a pretty penny for an auction. You know that, right? Even
I
if they're
mean-
unfinished.
I don't know much about art, but yeah, if this guy was famous and had his own island, probably, yeah. We could look around, but maybe these are big, so maybe just grab them on
Yeah.
the way out.
Maybe
think so.
not carry a massive painting around as we go explore.
Yeah, hold on, guys. I'll fight, but let me carry this.
Hey, we found our girl. Let's hit her over the head with the priceless art.
Perfect.
Are there any doors leading out of this room?
Yes. There is one door leading out. So, to the, kitty corner, not kitty corner, but to the right of the main door. It's a square room,
Okay.
We should go through that.
Okay. So, opening this second door, you see a room. It's a longer, sort of long, rectangular room. There is another door off to the right. And there are several chairs and loungers surrounding a coffee table in the center of the room. There's a copper bowl on the table that holds some rocks and a little stack of books. And all of the chairs and loungers are covered in cat hair. They reek. And the furniture has obviously been used as scratching posts, so it's just shredded. And you
gonna go look
sort
at
of
the
identify
books.
this as maybe partly the source of that terrible smell you smelled when you came in the house.
Oh.
Cat piss.
Yeah, now that you recognize it, it's very identifiably cat piss.
Great.
Great.
I know that one.
Are the rocks in the bowl fancy?
They're just polished. They look like they're Riverstone or something. They're, decorative.
It's a bowl of sapphires.
You never know.
I'm amazed that those rocks are in the bowl in the first place.
It's true.
It's like a
Maybe it's a heavy
stone
bowl.
bowl. It's really heavy, yeah.
Well, not to say that I don't know somebody who does this, but I do know somebody who would fish things out of a bowl and throw them.
Listen, I know you're talking about me, so
Yeah. Or I'm talking about Mochi. You're the one.
Oh, really? Speaking of knocking things over.
So I'm gonna
I'll
go look
just-
at those books. See if there's anything good in the books.
Okay. Going through the books, you find that they have interesting titles like Spank My Moneymaker. But you
If
do-
she says any of the titles out loud, Bard is there.
without
I think I am gonna read that out loud. Just be like, "Thank my money." What?
I'll just ask: are those going to fetch a lot at auction too? Kind of half seriously.
I think it's porn.
I want to know what kind of auctions you're going to.
I don't think so. I think more of the artwork would, but not the No.
You would actually be surprised, and Bard will take a book off the shelf and start flipping through it. You would be surprised how many famous authors actually got their foundational writing skills from loot material like this? And he'll start again, just going through stuff like that.
Yeah. You do
I'm
find
noticeably interested as well.
Once you've start going through this pile of porn, you do find at the bottom there is actually a book that says "Understanding the Gnomish Language."
Somehow that seems worse than the others.
Yeah, that one seems less fun.
Yeah, it's clearly not porn. It looks like it's a dictionary.
Yeah.
I will pocket it, though.
Probably along the lines of like Tolkien's Elvish, book in Elvish or something.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Okay, crazy people. So yeah, from this room, there is one other door that is up and to the right of the entrance.
So, like, we went to the left, and then in that room, the door's on the right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the next door's on the right again.
Yeah.
So we're, like, slowly turning, right? Okay.
Coming back to the main room, maybe.
Yeah. You also see at the end of the room, there are windows, but they're so covered in, like, rubble and trees and stuff. Like, you can't see out them at all.
Okay.
So
Was there any sign
dark
of-
in here?
So it's pretty dark in here, yeah. Like, it's
there any
dim.
sign
It's
of-
not dark, but it's quite dim.
Live cats or anything other than, like, the lounge area with the ruined furniture? Like, was there anything else around the room?
No.
Cool.
And Gretchen's going to be closing the doors behind as we go,
Okay.
just to make sure that things don't.
Nobody sneaks up
Come
on
out.
us from behind.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. So you're going in the other door?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always forward, never learning.
So as you enter this room, this was once a magnificent bedroom. There's a large 4-poster bed with gold-colored curtains. They're a little dusty, but they were gold. And the curtains are all closed around the bed. There's a dresser and a chest of drawers on each side of the bed. And there's a small, intricately carved wooden cup and silver hairbrush resting on one of the dressers. As you enter the room, oddly, it's much colder than the other rooms you've been in so far.
If there's a body on the bed, Bart is right back next to Gretchen.
You can't tell because the curtains are closed.
Oh.
Just as a forewarning, like whenever somebody opens the curtains and there's a body there or skeleton, Bart's out.
Gretchen, sensing Bard's feeling of terror, she's going to open the curtain to see if light
So
comes in.
before
and a
you
cat
even
comes out.
get to the curtains,
I've got
the
my rapier out still.
the curtains nearest to your side of the bed start to move. And from out behind the curtain slide 2 sort of ethereal bluish legs. And the feet drop to the floor. And a woman in probably her late 30s steps out. She is this sort of ethereal blue color and doesn't seem to notice you. She walks over to the dresser and reaches for a hairbrush, which just passes right through her hand. And then she begins to brush her long, sort of ethereal hair. She doesn't seem to be aware that she's not holding the brush.
I've seen some interesting things in my brief life, but that takes the cake.
Wait, we have cake? Oh, sorry.
Ma'am?
As soon as you sort of say that, her head sort of whips over to you. You there, where have you been? It seems like I've been calling for help forever. And she stands up and puts her hands on her hips. I need you to find Roland. Tell him he needs to get out of the study and come back to bed. He's been spending far too much time in there, and I miss him. And the last lot, I sent to find Roland never returned. I don't know what they're up to. They'd better not be sneaking into his brandy collection. That would upset Roland so much.
Just so we know, where's the brandy collection that we should avoid?
Bring Roland back to bed. And she sort of just clearly dismisses you and turns back to her dresser and starts brushing her hair again.
Somehow I don't think her death was a loss.
So she is dead then.
I'm at a complete loss for words. I have no idea what's going on right now. There's this woman who tried to grab a brush who can't.
I'm gonna go.
She's kind of
open
see-through,
the
too.
curtains.
Yeah, I'm not scared, not frightened. I'm just really confused.
Yeah, if once you open the curtains, you see that there is a skeleton laying in the bed.
And Bard is out.
Bard is out.
Bard is going to find Roland and the brandy.
And there's one other. Next to the bed, on the table next to the bed, there is a sort of like a chalice, like a very nice wine glass.
Can I take a look at that?
Sure.
Is there anything inside?
Make an investigation check or a medicine check, whichever you prefer.
I'm gonna go medicine.
Okay.
Based on my hunch. 21.
21. This cup has a very clear residue of poison.
That's what I was guessing.
So, I assume Duncan and I are kind of just standing there like,
Yeah, like what?
as stuff's happening. Like, this seems unnatural. We should probably do something about it.
What in the world do you want us to do, Rob? We're here looking for a derelict woman who let an army into the castle, and now we're looking at ghosts. I assume she's a ghost. I've never seen a ghost before, but that's what I imagined a ghost would look like.
I mean, I've heard
Yeah.
stories of ghosts, and I think they look like this. So,
So how do you fight a ghost? Like, or do we need to fight a ghost? She seems perfectly content, like this is her room.
I don't know. I haven't given much thought to religion, and
I think we should move on. And, excuse me,
it's
miss.
weird though.
Have
This
there been any other visitors here recently?
cup was poisoned.
We're looking for another woman.
You don't get an answer. And she sort of sets down the not their brush and stands back up and goes to the bed, where she lays right next to her presumably dead body.
and you said the brush was the brush that was silver?
Mm-hmm.
Don't
I'll
steal
go-
her hairbrush.
I'll go look at it.
Okay. Yeah, it's a very ornate silver hairbrush.
I'll leave it for now. Are there other exits to the room or just this one?
There is an exit that is to the right.
I assume Bard
So,
already
like-
took that one.
Okay, yeah, I took you back into the main foyer. It was the entrance that was straight ahead in the main foyer.
Straight ahead. Okay. All right, so we got one more room to check out.
Yeah, Bard is back in that main entrance, just pacing and talking to himself.
Kristen's gonna walk out of the room and go. So, didn't think I'd ever see a ghost in my lifetime.
I was unaware ghosts existed until about a minute ago.
I mean,
Well,
if magic's real, I don't see why ghost wouldn't be.
yeah.
Only
What are you
logical.
talking about? Magic is real. No, Ghosts are stories. Magic, stories. All of that, just stories. Trust me, I know the guy who made most of the stories up. Things like that, not supposed to be real. Just continuing to pace back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Well, I suppose
So
it
we
could
got-
be some kind of mass hallucination. Like if there's something wrong
That,
with the air.
that
in the
makes
house.
sense. Thank
but-
you. Logic.
Gretchen
That doesn't really seem to.
feeling feisty, places a hand on Bard's shoulder. Bard, are you still wearing a mask?
Yes, he is.
Touches the mask and casts light.
So I don't know if Bard would have let you touch his mask before he would have no.
Or try. You're just gonna try to do that.
Yeah, because he wouldn't necessarily let a person touch his mask, I think. And so he would have just kind of waved your hand away, just no, ghosts aren't real. It's just a story. Yeah, I get it. No, heaven and hell, all that. Yeah, no, but still, it's a story.
Looked like a ghost to me.
Gretchen, I want you to make a perception check.
Okay.
Or actually, yeah, make a perception check.
Because we all trust Chris so much by now.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, he's fine.
Did I not hear you get your answer?
It's a 10.
10.
Sorry.
Okay, you don't notice anything. Except that he's clearly flustered by this whole thing.
Okay. Then I'm, and instead of trying to touch the mask, touch his. What are you wearing?
He's got a cloak on, a hood that's pulled up, and then just kind of nice clothes, I guess.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna cast light on the cloak instead. Touch the shoulder and as if trying to brush off that it wasn't like she was trying to touch the mask and be an ass, but to comfort him and still cast light. Just mutter a little mutter a little thing and say, "Oh, I wish it was more lit in here." Basically.
And all of a sudden, your cloak is bright.
Yeah, he pauses and full just meltdown, or just breakdown, just kind of lost for a little bit.
And wild magic rolled a 10.
Oh, okay.
Just to be on the safe side,
Yeah, thanks.
You couldn't have done that when we were poking around trying to read books. It's kind of dark in here.
Well, now it's not dark.
Yeah, now.
Why are the rest of you not? Things like this shouldn't. What did she put on me that is. Try to brush it off.
You'll be all right,
just
bud.
sit down.
Shall we check out that other room?
Yeah, let's. Bard, you're just.
Hey,
It's
glowy
just a
man,
touch
come
of a
here.
ghost.
Yeah, I'll go.
We need the
I'll
light.
go open the other door.
Okay. Unlike the other doors, this one's actually slightly ajar. You notice as you get close to it. And as you push it the rest of the way open, you see there are books and papers scattered around the room, lying haphazardly on the floor and on the desk. Some books are open, some are open and upside down, and it just sort of looks like someone came in and just shoved the books all over the place from the shelves. And this was clearly once a study. It had shelves of books and stuff.
That's the word, study.
Oh,
There are-
wow. Books.
There are also several paintings of a man or of a woman with a small girl or an older boy. So just various paintings of this combination of people hanging lopsided on the floor or on the walls or laying on the floor where you think that they probably once hung. All of the paintings have been slashed except for sitting in the chair, or there is a chair in the middle of the room that is facing away from you and turned so that it's viewing the only painting that hasn't been vandalized or moved. And this painting is of a beautiful human woman who looks a little bit like the probably ghost that you just saw, and a young girl, maybe 8 or so. The two of them are in swimwear, sitting on a beach with their legs tucked to their chests, and they're smiling at each other. And the woman's outstretched hand is caressing the girl's, happy, smiling face. And you just, like, from the painting, you just sense love, right? Like, this is a woman and her daughter, and they love each other. And in fact, there's a small brass plate at the bottom of the picture frame, and it reads "True Love."
Bard will come into the room after everybody else and just be like, I think you all, I think we need to talk. Why are none of you as panicked about the magic thing as I assume this is magic? Why are none of you as panicked as I am? I mean, we saw a ghost. Like, I've seen a lot of weird stuff. I've had conversations that I thought were just in my head, but maybe they weren't. Why? What is going on?
We don't.
You
know
hear
if-
voices in your head?
Yeah, that's
I
weird.
can-
I thought maybe that was just me trying to cope with my trauma. I thought it was healthy.
No, you should see a healer about that. That's
Yeah,
I mean, there's some potions and things that could help with that.
But now maybe he was a real ghost. Maybe there is something after. What's
your
going
head?
on?
How about you go sit down?
That and he'll go sit in the
Yeah,
chair
I
that's in the
just-
center of the room.
So as you get to the chair, you kind of get, so you're going to go sit in the chair, but you find that there is already something sitting in the chair. And this chair was once this beautifully upholstered, crafted chair, but it also appears to have been slashed several times. Not by blades like the paintings, but by something. And this skeleton sits in the chair, and his clothes are torn away, and there's gnaw marks all over his bones. And he, in his repose, seems to be staring at the picture hanging on the wall. There is a piece of faded parchment paper in his lap.
There's another skeleton. Why? It's my one thing. And then he'll pace back out of the room.
Just maybe hang out and take some deep breaths out there. Here, and I'll hand him the water flask that I always carry with me and keep full.
Thanks, I guess. And he'll just go out and hold it and just sit down in the middle of the room or the middle of the entryway, just kind of now continuing to talk to himself, but also to his mentor, but out loud. So,
was this the room that the cat ran off into earlier?
Oh, yes.
The one I
I'll just
scooped out
start-
of the skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, here, Roland. And making the
The universal language of
Ubiquitous.
"Come here, cat."
Yep.
You make an animal handling check.
Super good at those. Ooh, that's a total of 4.
You don't get
Really
any
good.
response for some reason.
All right, maybe someone else. Maybe the cat's named Roland, or maybe this is Roland. I'm not sure.
Pretty sure
What's
the
this? And I'll
person
just-
was Roland.
Grab, see if I can gently grab the piece of parchment out of the hand.
Okay. Yeah, it comes out pretty easily because it's a skeleton hand. It's not exactly.
It's not grabbing. it
Yeah,
too fast.
yeah.
Ain't nothing to hold them together anymore.
Lost a lot of his grip strength over the years.
Oddly, yeah.
Age will do that to you.
And
Josh, quit dropping us.
Yeah.
Yeah, my phone was about to die. I plugged it in. My
Mm.
computer wasn't even plugged. I wasn't planning on staying for more than 15 minutes. Yet here I am 2 hours later.
Oh, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah,
Brain probably needs a break.
So yeah, it seems to be. You open it up and it's covered in writing.
I'm gonna come
Cool.
look over Ra's
Can
shoulder.
I
It's covered.
can I read it?
Can Ra
And
read?
by over Ra's shoulder, I mean around
Yes,
Ra's shoulder.
yes,
because
Ra can read. badly.
he just doesn't like to.
You choose to very often. Okay. So
Except for the
you
porn.
read. I write this, knowing that these will be my last words. Even now, I feel the madness stinging in deeper, clawing at my mind. My dear Eloise, you've escaped this wretched house, and I am thankful. I regret not tucking you in the other night when you asked. My love is eternal, my little doll. Adriana, I am sorry that I was too late. The madness took hold of you quickly, and in turn it took your life. We will be together soon, my love. Herbert, my beautiful boy, I am sorry that your ambitions and dreams will never be realized. Know that I don't blame you for what happened. It wasn't your fault. You didn't know. The shame and horror of what I had to do will haunt me even in the afterlife. That fiend was feeding off of you. His magic cursed everyone. I'm sorry, my son. So very sorry. And so, it is time to atone for what I've done and not done. I will sit and enjoy my last moments with a goblet of fine brandy and the loveliest of views. Be free, Eloise. I pray that you never return to this forsaken house. R.A.
Well, seems like this is rolling.
So Ra got to like the second sentence and then was just bored. But I assume Cal kept reading.
Yeah, I read the whole thing.
Okay.
Fiend.
What about a fiend? Oh,
Fiend and madness.
there it is. Okay.
Yeah, right there. His son had a fiend feeding off him. It almost sounds like he had to kill his son.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
That's messed up, yo.
Bard's out of earshot, right? I'm just gonna quick check.
Gretchen's gonna poke her head out. See kind of poke her head out, just checking Bard, just to make sure that he isn't going too crazy.
He's definitely kind of having a crisis of conflict right now.
He's talking to himself, whatever that means.
That could be the magic that the fiend has put into his head, and now it's repeating itself all over again.
True.
It could,
We might
or
have to keep a bard if history is any indication of how this.
I'm
thing
gonna go
is dealt with.
look at these slashes. Do they look like they were made with like an edged weapon or a fiend?
Make a nature check. I don't know, some kind of check. Maybe just an investigation check.
Investigation. 5.
It's hard to tell.
They are large.
Is there any other rooms attached to this room, or is it standing by itself?
Yeah, there is a door leading off of this room.
To the left.
Yes, to the left.
Aha, my map is working.
Aha.
Thing to the right should be outside. Yeah.
go through the
I'm gonna
door.
look around at some of these books and papers. Like, is there a theme? Is there like something he was researching or
You see
anything about
more-
fiends?
You don't see anything about fiends. You do see a few more pornographic sort of books. You see a number of sort of art treatises and art technique books. And some just, novels.
Art. Gross.
Hey, Bard, there's more porn books in here.
Just a second. Still coming to terms with a lot.
Probably
Um,
shouldn't tell him about the
I'll,
fiend.
I'll finally, after he says that, like a little exasperated. Mind you, I'm like 3 weeks after my realization that magic is real.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go out to him and just very matter of frankly say, magic is real. And when I realized it, it made me think I should probably just assume that all those stories are real too.
I don't even know if what we're dealing with here is
Your
magic.
story about
You're trying to find a.
about the barbarian and the princess is real. So why isn't everything else real?
Oh no! I mean, I know that's like it might be some things that happened in the castle the other night, but like I made a good portion of that up. I'm aware. We saw a dead person, and there's still light on my shoulder, and none of you are. Yeah, okay. Like, I know there's a lot more out there than people are willing to let on, but I didn't think I would see it all in one day.
Well,
Yeah, and
here,
to be
how
honest-
about you maybe just take some deep breaths, and here's caress her gently, and I'll just stuff this book into his, like, push it into his chest, and then just like go back into the other room.
And then Gretchen is gonna come back out and go, I'm sorry I was a little feisty with you and showing you that magic is real. I just am at this. I lost a friend yesterday that I didn't know too well, and I'm taking it out on you, and I apologize. But when you want to talk about magic and what we know, we're here.
Bard will he'll stop and just kind of like stand up and look at the book and like pocket it, and
There you go.
just be like, I'm aware there's a lot more out there than people let on. I've just had really bad experiences with it, but I'm good to go now. Unless there's more skeletons, still lots of deep trauma in there. So I will probably still steer clear of that. Beyond that, I'm good. Can you turn the light off, please?
Yes. Turn them off.
I'll hand you a little packet of herbs. Be like, here, you can drink that with some of the water. It'll help steady the nerves a little bit.
I don't need it. So, and I give the water or the flask back to Ra. I don't need them. I'm good now. Let's go ahead.
I don't even know if we're dealing with. I mean, it kind of just sounds like everyone in the house went crazy.
Yeah.
That doesn't even have to be. I mean, it could be magical, or it could be like maybe there's some kind of toxin on this island that they got into. Like,
Yeah, let's
there's some plants that make you do very weird things. I mean, it sounds like this guy killed his son, but
what about that plant, the picture you were looking at earlier that we found? What does that plant do?
What does that plant do? Alchemical stuff?
It doesn't make people go crazy.
It's not a hallucinogen.
Yeah, no. It is used for a number of purposes. Probably the most commonly used one, if it were more common, would be as like an almost unescapable sleeping draught. Like if you take it, you go to sleep, dreamless, deep, deep sleep.
I want that.
So almost like a anesthesia sort of thing.
And like if you drank a whole bunch of it, you might fall asleep in your really fancy 4-post bed and never wake up.
Maybe.
No, that was a
That would
poison.
be- yeah, it was.
Wait,
it was
are you? Do they hypothesize this all out loud?
Yeah, we're debating this. And I will mention that no, I don't think it's that one. It's not hallucinogenic or anyway. It's just a sleeping.
But you said that they had kids or kid or something like that.
From this note, it looks like 2 kids.
Wouldn't be the most extravagant thing if they gave that to their kids so that they never had to wake up.
Well, it sounds like he did something to his son. Reading this note, it sounds like his daughter escaped the island, and
Yeah, it seems like his daughter's not here anymore.
son
That
was-
person in the front room wasn't, a full-size person.
Well, when Rod and I were getting the boat, we heard something about people coming here looking for this rare plant. And if that guy had this sketch of the plant, maybe he was one of those explorers that came later.
Yeah, I bet the guy in the lobby with these lockpicks was not originally here.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
Now the body in by the trail, that could have been one of the children.
It was far too big to be an 8-year-old. But
Okay.
I mean, I guess you don't know how old she is. In the picture, it looks like the kid was an 8-year-old, but maybe she was grown up.
Yeah, maybe they lived here for 5 years first. Yeah.
Maybe that was a happy memory. Who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
But I want to stay on point. We're trying to find a person who we were following here. We're getting pretty wrapped up in the story of the man, and I do want to be careful of whatever's here.
If there's something on this island that causes madness.
Crazy, but let's
gather all those smut books and then go through this door.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll go through the door.
You're not going to grab all the smut books?
I am not going to grab all the smut books.
Okay.
I'm with you on that.
Me neither.
So you open the door that is to the left, and you find what seems to have been like a closet. It's filled with like winter outer garments that are shredded and tattered, as well as some fishing gear and some outdoor toys.
Retroactively, did the picture of the two people, so you had the mother and then the other was a child, yes?
Mm-hmm. A little girl.
Would Bard have any, because he picked up the Gnomish dictionary, would gnomes be kind of common knowledge, like size, stature, stuff like that?
I mean, yeah, in a mythological sort of way. Sure.
So his mythological sort of way has kind of been blown wide open right now, so he's open to a lot more.
Yeah.
Thinking back to that painting retroactively, was it a child or could it have been a gnome?
Make a history check.
Natural 1 for a 7.
Make a
Sure.
speculation check.
Could have been a gnome. Who knows? Gnomes were small.
Nothing is what it seems.
Everything is forbidden. Oh wait, wrong thing.
He'll just ponder that to himself. Kind of retro, like maybe incorrectly putting things together with the dictionary.
Just grasping at straws. So that door just leads to a closet.
Yep. And there's no doors out of the closet.
That should
That's
be the
boring.
whole
And there's no
floor.
like
There's an
trap doors.
upstairs.
Is there any trap doors in this closet, like to go into a cellar or a root closet?
You could make a investigation check if you would like to.
I will help.
Go through all the tattered remains of stuff.
I'm going to go back and
Whopping
look at books.
9.
With advantage, because Rob was helping you.
A whopping 10.
You do not find a
double
trapdoor.
digits.
Huh? No.
No.
Okay. Should be just rolling my real dice.
No, there
Is
was a
there,
set of stairs, right?
Yeah, I'll go back out and look up to see if there's like doors upstairs and stuff.
Yeah, there's a balcony that you can see from below, and then you can see what look like probably some doors and some rooms or something beyond that.
I'm looking at the stairs to see if they look structurally sound.
They are made of like marble, so probably.
Okay.
It would take a lot for them not to be, you think.
Not climbing up any rickety wood staircases. There's limits to adventuring.
Yeah.
There is a skeleton at the bottom of them, but other than that, they seem fine.
Do we maybe
Bard goes the long way around the skeleton.
Yeah, you can get around him and still go up the stairs, but you have to like sort of skirt around.
Should we go upstairs?
We
Maybe
should.
at the very least
Yeah.
we can get a view of the whole island.
I'll go and I'll have my rapier out, still kind of poking at stuff to like check for traps and like see if there's anything screwy like out in front of me.
Sure, make a perception check.
My awesome rolls continue. 7.
We're just on fire
Don't
tonight.
find anything.
Ooh.
Cool. I keep going.
Okay, you go up the
There's
stairs,
no traps here.
and you get to the top of the stairs without any issues.